Without looking at your phone, name 5 people you texted this week. Easy, right? Now, what's the phone number of any of them? Chances are you can't tell. And that's not just a memory glitch. There was a time you would have remembered, but years ago, you made a quiet trade. Which pieces of your brain to surrender to the machine, and which ones to keep. And you're facing that decision again today. But this time, it's about more than phone numbers. We've done this for centuries. People remembered what we couldn't. Search engines remembered what we wouldn't. GPS remembered where we were. Until someone handed you a tool that doesn't just store your thoughts, but it creates them for you. It drafts your sentences, shapes your arguments, even suggests ideas before we've had them. And so you find yourself back at the bargaining table, except you won't know when the trade is done or what you've given up, unless you know what to look for. I'm Walter Pasquarelli. I spent the last 10 years researching artificial intelligence. I advise government and business leaders. I'm also an affiliated researcher at Cambridge University. And this is where the story begins, on how we outsource the brain and how we keep what's ours. A few months ago, researchers at MIT ran a deceptively simple test. They asked people to write short essays in 3 ways: with no tools, with a web search window, and with an AI assistant. While they wrote, the scientists recorded their brain activity. What they found is the kind of graph that makes many uncomfortable. The people writing unaided lit up a wide connected network across the brain. Search users still showed strong engagement, but the AI group had thinner signals, fewer regions talking to each other. And when they were later asked about what they had written, a lot of the AI-assisted writers couldn't accurately recall it. The words never really stuck. People panic when they hear studies like this. It feels like something intrinsic, something that made us human, is disappearing. But it's not the first time we felt this way. If you dropped me into a hunter-gatherer society 5,000 years ago, I'd barely survive more than a day. Living in those conditions required being able to hunt, to identify trails, and find water sources. Most of us have none of these abilities today because we don't need them anymore, as we freed up mental bandwidth for other things. Ask a hunter-gatherer to lose these abilities, and it would be a sure death sentence. This is what psychologists call cognitive offloading.
When you lose self-confidence and you encourage cognitive offloading, there's a problem here because you're losing performance engagement. People are getting more anxious.
Offloading can be good. It frees up bandwidth. It lets a surgeon focus on technique instead of directions to the hospital. Philosophers took early issue with this. Socrates once worried that writing would erode memory because people would lean on the page instead of their minds. In a way, he was right. People did remember less. But writing also gave us philosophy, history, literature. Every new technology changes not just what we do, but who we are. Because whether a tool sharpens you or makes you passive depends far more on how you wield it than what it is.
With great power comes great responsibility.
And of course, we're all wielding this power with total discipline, personal responsibility. So we surveyed 1,500 people about what they actually use AI for. Most said curiosity, entertainment, just messing around. But then we went deeper, and we asked about the questions that actually matter. Your dating life, your health, your finances, and something else emerged. 7 in 10 young adults had let AI guide a career choice in the last 3 months. 6 in 10 had followed its health advice. 3 in 10 had used it for relationship decisions. And across all ages, about a third had chosen what AI told them over what a trusted friend, their therapist, or a doctor told them. The reasons are many and complex, most of which I detail in the full report linked in the description box below. But what it reveals is that a transition has been quietly underway. One where we've started treating AI as a confidant, and in some cases, a decision-making authority over our lives. Hannah Arendt once warned about thoughtlessness, the risk of accepting prefabricated truths without the inner dialogue that makes them ours. That dialogue, the back and forth, the wrestling, the doubt, is what turns information into understanding. This is what historically distinguished us from other animals, our ability to have that wrestling match between what's known and what's possible, between the answers we're given and the ones we discover ourselves. But the small muscles of the mind, retrieval, synthesis, judgment, only grow with use. Skip too many reps, and your brain registers the smooth, confident paragraph from the models not as an answer, but as the answer. Not because they're better, but because they arrive without friction. And that smoothness is seductive. Hallucinations and incorrect outputs get on people's nerves. But the real danger might be the exact opposite. It's the correct outputs, the plausible ones, the ones we accept without questioning. If you retrain yourself to treat machine-generated output as your own memory, your own reasoning, your own reality, synthetic content stops feeling synthetic. The machine's output becomes your world. And as that line blurs, we're caught in a paradox. A professional submits a report with citations that look authoritative and polished, except the sources don't exist. Elsewhere, a student writes an essay entirely on their own and watches a detector flag it as machine-generated. There's no way to prove otherwise. It's happening from both directions. Some people accept AI outputs without questioning them. Others create genuine work and can't convince anyone it's theirs. The systems built to tell the difference are struggling just as much as we are. But this paradox might have an exit. It's tempting to want to avoid AI altogether, but the answer is in how you meet it. The underlying truth is that part of us that exists only in the struggle needs the struggle to survive. You have to work out to be healthy. You have to reduce satisfying junk food to feel good. And sometimes the most bitter, difficult conversations are the ones really worth having. The mind is no different. Outsource the friction and you outsource the growth. In practice, that means do the hard part first, sketch the outline, test your recall, wrestle with the blank page, then bring in the machine, not to replace that work, but to push against it. Pilots still practice flying without autopilot so they don't forget how. Write the first draft unaided, memorize something by heart, argue with yourself before you ask the model. And when an answer arrives too smooth, break it open, ask for the counter-argument, add the detail only you know. That friction keeps the line between your voice and the machine's intact. What comes first matters. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. Every new technology brings us back to that bargaining table where we once decided what abilities we would keep and which ones we would let go. Discomfort doesn't mean decline, it just means adaptation is underway. The difference is whether we show up first. If we do, all our evidence suggests that the same tool that could thin our minds could also expand them. That's how you get to productivity and keep the person.